Hi, you're with Nadine van der Linden, and today I'm talking about how to create more flexibility and freedom in your business as a therapist. So, I think it's something that a lot of people set out aiming to do when they start a sole private practice or go into private practice. They go in with the intention to have a more flexible lifestyle than they would have in an employed role. And this is totally possible. However, it has to be set up right. And I think for so many of us, we go down the path of setting it up in such a way that it might actually become less free and less flexible than what we had in our employed position. So there's quite a few things that you need to keep in mind if you do actually want a free and flexible um, private practice career or therapy career. Some of us are not just doing one-on-one work with people where we've got products, we've got training, that sort of thing. And at each stage, I know that I found there's steps where if I let certain habits or certain patterns creep in, I'm not actually operating the business in a way that's creating freedom and flexibility. And part of that's, my personal styles. I can tend to be a bit monitory of emails and social media and things like that. And sometimes that really works for me, and other times it creates a total lack of freedom, really, even though I'm not tied down to an employer or something like that. So I think it really hit home for me. I had a holiday last week, and it was just a beautiful time where I was able just to let go of all of my businesses, have my VA manage that. But there's a lot of changes that I've made in terms of even the sort of work I do that has really made going on holidays much, much easier, which you'll see in my newsletter if you read it today. But for those of you who are looking at going into your own businesses or are in your own businesses and thinking, gee, this is just so much work and I never get a real break and I'm carrying my phone around everywhere, I would really encourage you to start to think about how you're working, who you're working with, what kind of support you need to be free and flexible. It's a real problem, for example, if you're carrying a caseload of clients who have crisis needs or need a lot of support, or you offer a lot of support and then you don't have any admin support for yourself. So you will not be able to take a holiday and feel relaxed and free if that's the case, because they'll end up being people in crisis and people who you need to carry your phone for. And so there needs to be things put in place if you're going to carry that kind of caseload. I think for me, what really stood out in my last holidays, because I've reduced the amount of therapy work that I do so much, it's kind of a numbers game with the crises as well, that there's so few less clients to have these crises. So I went on my holiday and I wasn't particularly concerned about anybody's care this time. And that's quite unique. There's usually at least one person who I'm a little bit worried about. But that didn't happen. So, these things can all come along. So making sure that you are doing the kind of work that lends itself to having freedom and flexibility. If you're doing work that requires more TLC, then you need to have supports in place. You can't really run it as a solo operator one-on-one without having a lot of stress. And I do know other colleagues who say they find it really hard not to answer emails on holidays and all that sort of thing. And I think building your business in a way that it can become something more than just one-on work really helps as well. So those are just my pointers for today. And of course, the more you have of self-sacrifice and unrelenting standard schema, or a really strong demanding critic mode, the harder it is to make sure that you don't do the things that create problems with freedom and flexibility, because those schemas and those modes actually demand that you are not free and you are not flexible. So that's something also you can think about working with as well. But it's really worth it. It's really the ultimate when you have a business that works for you, that you enjoy working with, that doesn't create problems for you when you try and take leave, or you need, even if it's just sick leave, really. So if that's something that interests you, that you want a little bit of help with, you're most welcome to reach out with me. Join my waitlist for the Thriving Therapist Formula. Find out more about that. And that's it for me. Bye for now.